Hello Physical Fiends, it's Jordan here again with a nice update on some new physical game announcements. As always, these are new announcements, these are not releasing this week. If you want to pre-order any of them, then please consider using the links below. That massively helps support me, and I thank you greatly from the bottom of my heart. So, Totally Spies Cyber Mission is releasing physically on the Switch later this year. This is from Microids, which makes sense. It's a French cartoon, they're a French company. I've never heard of it before. Looks like it may play a bit like XCOM, but I don't think there's a trailer to really show what it's about. So yeah, screenshots it is. But if it is like XCOM, I think that's an interesting direction to take a licensed tie-in. Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2. This is a long-awaited sequel to a very popular action game, and the original came out like 15 years ago, which is really insane to think about. Although this was like announced 4 years ago or something. Game development, it takes a lot of time, and this sequel is releasing in September on PlayStation 5 and Xbox. Police Simulator Patrol Officers Gold Edition is releasing on the PS5 and Xbox like next week or something. As it says on the tin, this is a re-release of a game that came out last year, but now includes expansions and bundles. I've heard for what it's going for, it's supposed to be an alright experience. Hopefully, you get to use a rocket launcher on fleeing criminals. Conscript is releasing on the Switch this August. This has like a super generic looking cover art that you wouldn't expect from Team 17, but apparently it's a survival horror game that's set in the trenches of the First World War. I'm also loving the retro aesthetic here, the stuff of dreams. Kenna Bridge of Spirits Premium Edition is getting a surprise physical release on Xbox. From what I remember, this was a PlayStation exclusive from years ago, but is now finding its way to Xbox and coming physically too. Not every day you see something like this happen, but it did have very good critical acclaim, winning many Indie Game of the Year awards, so yeah, good stuff. Nuclear Blaze is coming physically to the PlayStation 5. This was already a Switch and PS4 physical. It came out not too long ago either. Now the PS5 version is kind of like a budget release, as Red Out Games often do with their PlayStation releases. This has very limited quantities. If you get it from their site, you can get an extra 10% off with the code SWATCH10. VGP will also be carrying some copies. Links are below for everything. Astro Flame Starfighter is another RAG special, another PS5 game in limited quantities and cheap price. It's a vertical shooter. It seems I don't know anything about it because, yeah, there's no reviews, and it's not even out on Steam. It's kind of weird. Let's jump into some import announcements. Links below for these are for Play Asia, and if you click the link, you can get 5% off these with the code Jordan24. SaGa Emerald Beyond is getting an Asian English physical release next month on Nintendo Switch and PlayStation 5. Now, this did get a physical release in Japan already, but that one did not have English. So yeah, many people have been asking me so many times if I had any info about an English release. Well, now it is coming. It's another actually recent JRPG from Square Enix. I'm looking forward to this one. The Town of Nier is one of the few BL visual novels out there, and the Japanese release will have English. So if you want some dude-on-dude action, and I know you do, you should keep an eye out on this one. It's releasing in September. Dreadout Remastered Collection is releasing on Switch and PS5 in Asian regions sometime this year. This is a double pack of the original Dreadout and Dreadout Keepers of the Dark, which is a new standalone game in the series. I like the second game, which is also an import exclusive. It came out, was it earlier this year? So I'll be looking to pick this one up at some point too. Sunsoft is back. Retro Game Selection is a meager selection of 3 games from Sunsoft's retro catalog: The Wings of Mandula, Ripple Island, and Firework Thrower Kantaro's 53 Stations of the Tokaido. That's a mouthful. I've never heard of any of these, which means I'm interested in trying. I want to try them. And the import is actually very, very cheap, I guess. Play Asia do not state English as of yet, but the eShop version does have English. Maybe some of the in-game text will still be in Japanese though, I don't know. There is a standard edition as well as a collector's edition, which includes a neck strap, a commuter pass case, a keychain, and reproduction retro comics. This is coming in October. Canon already has a physical release in Japan on the Switch, but good news everyone, sometime in the near future, the Japanese physical release is going to get an English update, which is great news because this will be the first official English release of this ancient but very well regarded visual novel. Iki Unite is a multiplayer roguelike shooter. I don't really get it, but it just looks insane. It's supposed to be like based on a terrible NES game, also known as a Kusoge, and this does look kind of terrible, but I think it's supposed to. It's like Vampire Survivors if it had 16 people playing together at the same time. I don't know, it could work. It's coming in September in a standard edition as well as a collector's edition, which has a plush, scroll, folding fan, soundtrack CD, and it's coming in September. IGS Classic Arcade Collection is getting a physical release on the Switch finally. I've been hoping for this one for a while. In fact, I did actually contact the company on behalf of Premium Edition Games, who I kind of work with, to do a physical of this like retro pack. But obviously it seems like they already had plans. Here you get a bunch of classic Chinese arcade games, the most famous of which being the Knights of Valor games, which follow the Three Kingdoms story a little bit. And if you watch my giant Three Kingdoms video game retrospective, then you'll find that I like these beat 'em ups a lot more than Capcom's Three Kingdoms beat 'em ups. Anyways, this is way more than just those few games. There's a lot here, and I'm looking forward to picking this one up myself. Meiji Tokyo Renka Full Moon is another visual novel that's getting a Japanese English release. PlayAsia don't mention English on their listing right now, but the game's website does say it will have English. This is an otomige that's releasing in October. Are you ready for this one, guys? Hokkaido Rensa Satsujin Ohotsuku ni Kiyu Tsuyoku no Ryohyo Namida no Nippopo Ningyo. Quite proud of that. Is one I'm quite looking forward to despite the name. This is a double pack of Famicom detective adventure visual novels, but remade with nicer visuals. I like the look of this one a lot, and it's nice to see the Japanese release is going to have English, hell yes. And now we're going to end on something completely different, the Evercade Bartop Arcade. It's a weird thing, but yeah, Evercade have another console to show off, although this one is more of a niche thing, I would assume. They have a miniature arcade cabinet with cartridge slots, and there are two variations of this, one that's specific to like Street Fighter stuff, and one that's kind of but not really specific to Mega Man. It's got 2 Mega Man games alongside 4 other games. And yeah, I don't really see the audience for this. I guess it's cool if you've got like a, I don't know, a homemade bar or something and you want to decorate with some cool gadgets or something. I don't think it's like something that everyone's gonna buy. Like I can't see these being in like actual game stores, but hey, I don't know. Spend your money how you like. It's kind of expensive. Interesting though. Anyways, there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. A few new announcements from the past week or two. Please let me know which new announcement has taken your fancy, and if you'd like to pre-order any of them, then please consider using the links below in the description and the pinned comment. That really helps support me and the channel. I really do appreciate the support, and I hope you all have a magnificent weekend. It's coming.